Today we will talk about psychic self-defense or energetic self-defense. We're going to discuss different methods, and especially we are going to explain how they work and which ones we should resort to in specific situations. Hello and welcome. Today we talk about self-defense, and this topic's super important considering this channel is about taking control of our personal evolutions, both spiritually and here in this lifetime. Self-defense is important not only when we are sensing some subtle energies or when we are in an out-of-body experience or when we are in a deep meditation, but also in our everyday life, because sometimes we face situations that we may very well need a good psychic or energetic self-defense. For those of you who are joining here for the first time, I would like to say that you'll notice I publish videos in different languages, but every week I have something in English. Just keep an eye for those that have the text in purple. Self-defense. Not such a simple topic, because most people would like to find one technique that would be simple to apply and would work in every condition. In practice, it doesn't work in this way. It depends a lot on the situation we are facing and depends a lot also on the severity of the type of contamination or attack that we may be receiving. There is a classical book on self-defense by Dion Fortune, and it is a little bit scary because she describes some of the situations that she has been through because of energies that were around her, or she was receiving those energies in a way. And most people, when they would read that, they would think, yeah, not possible. Actually, that is possible. So it's interesting from this point of view. What's not so interesting in the book is the type of techniques that she offers. She is from a time when everything was about religion. You could not find any information unless you were connected to religion in a way. So I did not find any technique there that I thought was useful, at least from my point of view. But nonetheless, when I read it, I think, yeah, all of this can happen, and under these situations, it cannot be just a simple technique. Because usually, what sort of technique people would like to apply? Number one, most popular, and maybe even sometimes we do it unconsciously, when we feel we are charged and heavy, we just feel like, okay, I like to put my mind into something else. So we go out for a walk, or we go shopping, or we go watch a movie, so that we get so immersed into what we are doing that we disconnect from the source of the type of energies that were invading us and were not so comfortable. But as long as those energies are not so prevalent, not so strong, this can work, and this is a technique that sometimes can be applied, but only for very mild things, only for when we faced a very specific situation that day and it contaminated us just a little. In addition, some people also resort to a very good shower when they are feeling they are contaminated. Indeed, that can help in some cases because the person relaxes, feels better, and therefore cut the connection with those sort of energies, but also because sometimes the energy of the water per se helps to make that cleansing in a way. Some people would try also to concentrate, maybe meditate, and think of something positive so that they try to get out of tune or cut the rapport with a sort of energy or maybe even entity that may be around them and may be creating that uncomfortable feeling. And the uncomfortable feeling can be in the energy body, can be energetically speaking, like feeling drained or feeling really almost like something physical attacking and being uncomfortable. But other times it can be more of an emotional thing, and sometimes also more of a thought pattern that's different, that changes, and we would have some sort of images in our minds or thoughts that we know they are intrusive, they are not ours, and they are atypical and we cannot stop them. Usually this is because of some sort of contamination in our energies or some sort of presence around that can end up affecting our emotions or our thoughts and of course ultimately also our energies and the way we feel about ourselves. So some people would try to think of something more noble, something that would be subtler in nature, more ethical, so that they try to disconnect with those aspects. That can work. Sometimes it works for good, but it's rare. Usually when it gets to the point of feeling in the way I described, what happens is that the person would try to think of something positive and would manage for a moment, but later on, inexplicably, it's almost as if the same feeling that was there before, or thought or emotion, starts penetrating again and brings the whole thing up. And the more you think, I'm not going to think about this anymore, it's almost like there is something reminding you of that, and that thought and feeling comes back again. So this shows that whatever is lingering there is a little bit stronger, and you need to resort to stronger techniques as well. Another favorite of many people is thinking that we are under a shielding or protected or in a bubble that nothing would penetrate. Actually, I don't like very much this technique, and I will explain why. Because even though this can work once in a while, this also works through means that I don't think they are very productive for us to develop our sensitivity. Because most of the time, when people resort to it, it also creates some sort of mechanism inside of the person in which the very sensitivity of the problem, the awareness of what's going on is also reduced. So it's somehow an effect that is produced a little in the energy, but also a little or a lot in our minds, as if I do not want to be in contact with whatever is there. I do not want to be aware of it. I do not even want to sense it. But in my opinion, that's not the best. The best, if we want to develop, is, yes, I want to know what's there. I want to know why it's happening. I want to know what produced it. And also, I want to be able to maintain my tranquility, my balance, keep my energies clean, and be able to handle and deal with whatever is there. In my opinion, this is the best because we find the root, we learn, we develop also our skills, our control of our energy, and we do not incur in the problem of reducing our psychic awareness in a way, or our perception of this non-physical reality around of us. If anything, what we would like is to develop more this sense that would allow us to be connected in a way with the subtler reality around of us, because it influences us in different levels. Either we want it or not, either we sense it or not. Of course, for those that manage to apply this technique and still be absolutely certain that they are not shutting down their sensitivity or somehow repressing the perception of this subtle or non-physical reality around of them, then that may be a good technique for these specific individuals. And another technique that is also very used is to try to think that we are strong or that nothing is going to penetrate us. This can also be a good technique because one of the points that ends up making us to be more penetrable with these negative energies or more open to these negative energies is the fact that some people feel they are powerless, or some people they feel emotionally charged with those energies or afraid something could go wrong. And then that fear, or even if we get mad at that situation, all of these feelings end up creating a greater rapport with those energies, and the person tends to become even more vulnerable. So being sure that we can do it, that we can be strong enough to do it, and we are not going to go into trouble, this can help. But again, all of these depending on the level of attack we are receiving. When it comes to a situation in which there are really, really bad energies around, maybe because we are in a place that we were visiting. Maybe we are in a hotel or we are in a house and it's a haunted house and we didn't know. Or maybe we are receiving very bad energies from someone that we know, or we went to a place and we end up getting connected to some sort of non-physical being that comes with us to our home, supposedly, it's an example, and then we would keep feeling those very negative energies somehow contaminating us all the time. Then these energies may not be enough because they provide a little respite, but then later on the situation tends to come back. What then we should do is to work directly with our energies, because we are sensing all of these different situations through the energies that are coming to us, or through our energy body in a way. So if we are able to deal directly with the energies of our energy body, to cleanse it, unblock, move away those energies, and also on top of it, to be able afterwards to create a wave of energies that cleans the environment around of us, that is the ideal and the correct thing to do. The first one, in terms of cleansing our energies and removing those negative contaminating energies from inside of us, there are different techniques. The technique I recommend is called Velo. It's voluntary energetic longitudinal oscillation. I'm going to leave a link for you to know a little bit more about this, and next week I'm publishing a video that is going to explain to you more how to do it, so keep an eye for it. But Velo, it works in a very broad way in our energy body, so that's why I like it. Another aspect that you need after you balance your energies with Velo would be an emission of energies, as if you create a pulse of energies from inside of you towards the environment around of you. And when I say environment, I don't mean necessarily physical environment. Physical, non-physical, so this multidimensional reality around of us, then we manage not only with that pulse to maybe repel some of these influences or presences that would be there, but also to create a field that this ends up protecting us. Not because it's a field shielding us, but it's some sort of informational field that therefore will make it harder for some specific types of energies or consciousness to penetrate that field. So these are just the most common types of self-defense technique. If the video was useful, please let me know and keep an eye for other videos on the topic. Thank you very much. See you next time.